What's going on, everyone? So, recently talked about the league may look to make draft picks free agents, right? So instead of doing a draft, they're free agents and they just go wherever they want. And I don't know if they could do that, right? Like, it's a little extreme, in my opinion. Right? Look, you're always going to have teams that have advantages, no matter what. Right? You're always going to have teams, like I say it all the time, the good teams are always good because they want to be good. Bad team, you're not a bad you're not a bad team for 10 years because you want to be bad, right? Like, again, Cleveland lost LeBron, they were bad a couple years, and guess what? Now they're one of the best teams in basketball. Spurs were bad for a couple years, now they're one of the best teams in basketball, right? Like, yes, you hit on the draft, you get a Wemby, like there are circumstances, but again, good teams that want to be good are going to be good. Ownership that wants to win and wants to be successful, they're going to be good, they're going to be successful, right? Like, so no matter what, the NBA is always trying to figure out and cater and do all this stuff to try to appease and try to figure out how to stop teams from being bad and stop teams from tanking and doing all this stuff. And it's like, again, like, no matter what they've done, the aprons, all this stuff, all you do is just hurt the teams that want to win, right? Like, and it doesn't fix anything. You have the same problem. The teams that have been bad, that were bad pre-CBA, are the teams that are bad now. Right? Like, so it's one of those circumstances where, again, you're going to have outliers. You're going to have things, like you're going to have a Tim Duncan situation to the Spurs. You're going to have a James Worthy. You're going to have situations where it's just like, that's probably not good. But those things happen regardless. Like OKC, every year is going to be adding a top guy to their roster, right? Like, Spurs, like, again, teams that do the right things and that are good are always going to do the right thing. I imagine if they have the free agency thing, there would be parameters, but you also take away from trading. You take away from, like, you ruin so much. Like, there's so many things that would affect and impact. The only way I really see, because you're never going to fully fix the issue, right? The only way I see doing it and fixing it is just do the wheel draft, right? So, for example, Lakers have the number 1 pick in the draft this year. Next year, they drop all the way down to the bottom. And then you climb back up. And yes, I know the first initial reaction that people are going to have is, imagine OKC has, they're in this time and they have the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st round pick the next 5 years. Who cares? Right? It's not going to work that way. Right? Like, again, these top guys aren't going to want to go to a stacked OKC team. OKC isn't going to be able to draft multiple guys every year and develop guys and do all that stuff. So now you're trading picks and you're, cashing in on players, right? Like, you're always going to have outliers. OKC's already in that situation. OKC, if they want to go get Giannis tomorrow, they go get Giannis tomorrow. They get anybody in the league that they want. Again, good teams are always going to make good decisions. Yes, you might have an outlier, you might have whatever, but if you're the best team in basketball by a landslide, like, you're not, it doesn't make sense for you to start draft. Like, I'm going to take the number 1 guy. And not every draft has super elite players. I mean, it's like for every great draft, the next year is usually a draft where it's like, dude, the number 1 pick might not even be top 10. Right? And a lot of these players are based on where they end up and where they go. Right? But what that does is, now if I'm the worst team in basketball and I'm at the 25th pick, why in the world would I take, it would take me 20 years for me to now make sense to, and there's no reason for me to tank because I get the pick regardless, right? But now you might have teams positioning themselves more, right? So now you might have teams that are like, man, like Dallas, right? They're like, man, like, okay, we're the 10th pick. This draft, not so great. Next year's draft, or 2 years from now, we're the, we'll have the 7 seed, and there's like 8 guys that make sense, right? Like, okay, let's go make a big push right now. Let's trade our picks and stuff right now. Let's go get a guy right now alongside Cooper Flagg and all that stuff, and then we can get our guy 3 drafts from. Like, you'll have teams that kind of figure some stuff out. Like I said, again, you'll have like the outliers. Yes, you might accidentally build a dynasty at some point, but that's good for basketball, right? As much as people complain about dynasties in sports, it's usually you don't think the Dodgers ruining baseball isn't good for baseball, the ratings are better than they've ever been. You don't think the Golden State Warriors, the Chicago Bulls with Jordan, Showtime Lakers, Birds Celtics, Kobe and Shaq's, Miami's Heat LeBron, right? Like, you don't think that those were good for basketball? Of course they were. Because you have two sides. You have people either hate it and they want that, all they're doing is just complaining about it, but you're still talking about it, right? And you have the other side that loves it and that's your team, or you jump on the bandwagon or whatever, right? No matter what, it's good for sports. Dynasties have proven time and time again are good for sports, right? And the Lakers do have what they want right now. But again, like, the draft is a lottery regardless. For every top pick that ends up becoming great, there's more that become busts, right? Think of most of the top players ever, right? Like, they're usually not top picks, right? Most of the top players in the league right now weren't the number 1, number 2, number 3 pick, right? Jokic was taken during a Taco Bell commercial. Giannis was mid first round. What was he? He was 15th, 13th, something like that. Kobe, there's so, most guys, Devin Booker, all these guys, Kawhi, right? Most guys end up being later in the draft, right? So get it. Peterson in this year's draft, something like that, he looks like he's the next great guard, right? He could end up being nothing, right? He could end up being we've seen so many guys where it's like, dude, that guy you can't miss with him. That guy's the next great superstar. And they come in the league and nothing, right? It's sports. There's always going to be things that happen that you're just like, well, that's going to suck, right? There's always going to be things where, the best team in basketball gets the number 1 draft or draft pick, right? But that happens now, right? Again, teams, there's so many things. OKC could get a top pick in this year's draft, right? There's so much things happen regardless. So to me, instead of worrying about what happens if, the Spurs end up becoming the best team in the league for the next 10 years and just run the league. There's other teams are going to be good. Other teams are going to ramp up. Other teams are going to compete, right? You're going to have other situations. Right? Spurs aren't going to win 10 straight years. Right? Probably win 5 during that stretch or 6 during that stretch. Okay, who cares? Again, it's good for basketball. And then you have these other teams that win in between and all that stuff. It's just, I think the wheel route is the best route because there's no incentive for bad teams to tank because there's no advantage to it anymore, right? And again, if I'm more towards the bottom, right? You start the wheel based. So right now, OKC would get the last pick in the draft. So let's say we started this next offseason. You just do it the worst team this year gets the number 1 pick and so on and so forth. You go all the way down. So OKC would be the last pick. The Detroit Pistons would be second to last, so on and so forth, right? So the best team in basketball gets the last pick, worst team in basketball gets the 1 pick. And then from now on, you just cycle through, right? So if in 25 years, OKC is still the best team in basketball, well, then again, they were going to do that regardless, right? So to me, it's just, I just don't think it's as big of an issue, right? Just do the wheel thing and move on. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. It helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.